Well, first of all, Amy and I would like to say welcome to all 25 people that are on this webinar. Amy and I, so you're all aware, I represent Zone 28. Amy is Zone 32, and we are the team representing Region 35. Amy and I actually meet my friends pretty regularly, kind of bi-weekly. We just whenever we think we need to check in with each other. And then each of us have teams that work with us directly. And we try when we select our teams, and if any of you ever think you would be interested in serving at a zone level in public image or the Rotary Foundation or in any other arena, please don't hesitate to reach out. But we try to build a team that's got a lot of diversity and a lot of multi-talented individuals so that we all kind of share what we do and do well. So with that, I'm excited to say that three members of Amy's team, which is in Zone 32, are going to be presenting this evening. And when we're done tonight, before we close out everybody, we'll give you an update on what the upcoming webinars will be as well. We are doing webinars on a bi-monthly basis. But joining us this evening, some pretty amazing people, quite the superstars. We have Lizzie Martin, Tim Kelly, and if you guys would just raise your hand, that'd be great. So Lizzie, Tim Kelly, and Jay Penny. And I have had the pleasure of getting to know them since July 1st. And it's just been really neat to see the expertise and the passion that they bring to public image. So with that, I will turn it over to the three of you.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Okay, give me 1 second. All right, are we showing there?
Yep.
All righty. All right. All right, do you want to start, Lizzie?
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Okay.
Just wanted to get you set up there, Jay. Thanks for being the driver tonight. And thanks everyone for being here. We're very excited to share with you some of our insights on newsletters and websites, and hopefully give you some helpful tips and tricks and some maybe new resources and ideas to take back to your districts and clubs tonight. And certainly pop any questions that you have in the chat, and we'll be sure to save time at the end to address all of those. Jay, if you could go to our next slide. For our agenda tonight, we're going to talk about websites, things to think about before you build it, how to assess your current site, some tips for using AI for a little bit of extra help, and then Jay's going to take us right into the Brand Center for some resources to help with your website. And then we will pivot over, and Tim is going to lead us through the talk about newsletters with some best practices and some current examples for you. Websites and newsletters are kind of, besides email, our main sources of communication through Rotary and connecting with our volunteers, whether it's districts to clubs or clubs to their members or potential members. And so it's really important that they're effective and engaging and vibrant and active, and they're going to help you in terms of reaching new people to join Rotary, maybe new people to join in your endeavors as a partner or a sponsor, and certainly to keep your members informed, which is a really big and important part of the member experience, which is what keeps people engaged and staying in Rotary. So hopefully tonight, like I said, we'll give you some new tools for your toolkit, and then you can have awesome newsletters and websites moving forward.
Thank you, Lizzie.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk about websites first. So before we even thinking about building a new website or editing a current one, we need to think about some things first. And the first is, what are the goals that you have for your website? And this may sound like an obvious one, but actually it's not. I ask people this, I ask Rotarians this when they want to redo their website, and I sort of get a blank stare the first time. So this is really important to resolve very early on, to decide what are your goals, Who are your target audiences? What do you want them to do once the visitors get there? And finally, what impression do you want to make? Hopefully, one of the things that you want to do with your club website is to attract new members. The underpinning of tonight's webinar is really about expanding your reach. And hopefully you're thinking about one of the primary audiences for your new website or a revamped website is to expand your reach and get members in that maybe typically our Rotary clubs depend upon our own members to reach out and bring other members in. But we want to expand our reach, and you can use your website, if done correctly, to attract members that maybe no one really knows in your club. So the next thing, once you have your goals, and by the way, I would advise getting the goals in writing and have your club leadership agree upon it, and make it very simple. It'll avoid conflicts and problems later on, especially after you invest a lot of time into revamping your site. But once you have your goals, what you want to do is incorporate those goals in your content and navigation. We'll delve a little bit more specifically in this a little bit later. But what I mean by that is, for example, if you decide that one of your primary goals is to attract new members, and one of your audiences is to find people that may not know a lot about Rotary or your club, you want to make that as a primary thing on your homepage, a primary goal to attract those people like that and lead them through the information. But you also have to recognize there's other audiences you may have. Maybe a secondary or tertiary goal is to raise money for the club. So you have to have a way to get donors. So you have to layer that information in, and we'll talk about how to do that. And the third point on here is don't overcrowd your homepage. Many studies really outline that people, when they land on a website's homepage, they're there less than a minute. Mm-hmm. If they don't find the information they're looking for quickly, they'll just move on and you'll lose them. Mm-hmm. So I would say avoid what I call the spray and pray method. And that is you just throw everything on the homepage and hope that whoever visits the website finds the information they want. Consider having call to action buttons early on the homepage. This example is just find out more about joining us. It could be become a member. It could be join one of the upcoming service events. It could be any sort of call to action button that you see is important that leads you to your goals. Okay, so the next one. So those are the things you should really consider before redoing your website or starting a new one. But one of the things you can do too is assess your current website. And there's about 10 things you can look at. And then in addition to that, Lizzie's going to talk about using AI to do this. So I'm going to talk about the old-fashioned way. That is, first, what are your first impressions of your club's website? Take a look at that and think about, what's your first impression? Is it visually appealing? Is the information up to date? Are the recent meetings on there, upcoming meetings, upcoming events, or has it not been updated in 3 months or a year? Use of photos and video, really important. Everyone's visual. Do the members look happy? Does it show relevant pics of meetings or service events? How's the image quality? What do they look like? Are they blurry? Are they high quality? Brand compliance. We could have a whole webinar just on brand compliance, but we're just going to focus on one thing right today, one or two things, and that's the logo. So your club's logo should be on that prominently on that really every page on that website. And it should look pretty much like this, only with your obviously your club's name on there. Okay, another thing you consider on assessing your website, is it showing something that you're part of something bigger? Is it really showing that we're part of a very large membership organization around the world? We're in 200 countries, 1.2 million members. Is it showing past or future meetings, upcoming events? Does it have prominent links to the social media of your club? These are all things that you can think about that would really enhance your current website. And if you're sort of failing on any of those, these are the things you might want to work on. So we're going to move next to Lizzie, who's going to talk about using AI to evaluate your website.
Thanks, Jay. I mean, there's probably a million ways if you're proficient with AI that you could utilize it to help you with optimizing your site, optimizing the content, setting you up better for search engine optimization, simplifying, and whatever your goals are that you've identified. But here's a few that might be helpful to you to take away if you're not super familiar with AI, and you can put these right into ChatGPT, free to use. And they can just kind of see they're time savers, really. So for example, you don't want broken links. That's a bad user experience. If something on your site clicks through to an error page, you want to know about that. But do you want to go through and click on everything and test it all out yourself? We don't have time for that. Ask AI to scan your website, put your club's website URL in there, and ask it to identify any broken or suspicious looking links. You could also do the same thing and give it your URL. Oops, Jay, can you go back for me?
Sorry.
That's okay. And ask it to tell you if you've got any outdated info on there. Are there any pages that have gotten stale and actually have like old info that you really don't want out there anymore? I did this my club's website recently just to test it out. It didn't give me a whole lot of helpful stuff. It actually picked up a lot of pages that aren't currently part of our nav bar anymore, but maybe have been cached by search engines. So it wasn't a big deal for me. But if you haven't done this kind of thing on your website in a long time, it could really uncover some helpful things for you. And then lastly, you can have it help you just jazz up your content. If you don't have that creative bone, if you don't have the bandwidth, really, for me, it's about preserving my mental brain power every day. That's my most finite resource. So give it a page on your website and see what AI would suggest you do to freshen up the content without changing losing any of the data. Our club recently revamped our whole website with a different theme. We have a Club Runner website, and we asked AI for help with it. We told it, AI it's a Club Runner website. It knew what that meant. It knew what our limitations might be and what features are available as a Club Runner website. It specifically recommended the most modern and current looking themes to choose from, and gave us great insight into how we could reach our goal of making it a more welcoming and informative space for potential new members. And I'll pop our URL in the chat. It's baldwinsville.rotary.org. Still a work in progress, but certainly got the homepage refreshed, and all of those potential member-facing pages like Join Us, About Us, Contact Us, got those all refreshed. And AI was a huge help for that. And so now that we've got some more of our content in the right place, we're going to use AI to help us with search engine optimization and figuring out what we need to do to our website to make it show up in search better. So don't hesitate to give it a try. You're not going to break anything or hurt anything by just asking AI for help and seeing what it suggests. Sometimes it's going to be on the money. Sometimes it might not be helpful to you, but keep trying.
Great. Thanks, Lizzie.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we're going to now take a trip to the Brand Center. All right. Is everyone seeing that okay?
Yep.
Okay. So now I want to drill down a little bit more on specifics of the website. And the Brand Center has a section on websites, and it's really, really helpful. And if you're thinking of revamping your website or starting a new one, I would really strongly urge everyone to go there. So we're going to review a few points on here. Or show your work of the club, some of the positive things that you're doing, service projects, things like that. You want to keep it simple. Include call to action. Use Rotary colors. Now, if you're using a Club Runner or DACDB website, I think they're typically branded with the colors, but if you're going to another platform, such as Squarespace or Wix or something like that, you need to go to the brand center for the colors in order for your new website to be branded properly. So that's one important note. So here are some important points on the navigation that you should include. And I know the picture's not the best here, but hopefully you can see it. So the first thing is the club logo. Make sure that that's at the top of the page somewhere of the website. And that's your club logo with the complete name on there, of course. What is Rotary? Have a section on what is Rotary. This is a good and a bad thing. One of the most Googled things with Rotary is what is Rotary? So the bad thing is a lot of people still don't know what Rotary is. The good news is this is a way to draw people to your site and you can explain what Rotary is. And typically that page should have, the international, we're part of a, big community, 200 countries around the world. You can talk about the Rotary Foundation, that kind of thing, but definitely include that. Next one is get involved. This is a place where, just as it sounds, you could have sign up for volunteering for a service project. Obviously, I want to apply to become a member. It could be donate to your club to some particular cause. Have those kinds of things on the get involved. About the club, that might be where you put your club leadership, maybe some history. Again, this would probably be someone who is not a casual viewer, someone who really wants to check out your club. But remember, we were talking about layering the information, so that's why you want to set this up like this. And then a calendar section that would have your upcoming service projects, social events, meetings, that kind of thing. And you want to make sure you set that section up. And finally, a news and update. It could be a blog. And one tip that I would offer to everyone too, as you're sort of thinking about the architecture of your site, is we're all volunteers, we're all really busy, and you can set your site up so that there's some core pages that don't change that much. For example, your About the Club may only change once or twice a year, and that's fine. That's less work for you. But there are some pages that you want to do frequent updates on, and that would be the news, update, blog, calendar kind of sections. And that makes it a little easier for you to maintain the site once it's launched. Then we want to talk about images, and I would add to that video. So one of the things you should consider way back in the goals section where we were is a lot of clubs, when they think about new membership, how many here say they want to have younger members? Raise your hand. I can't see everyone, but I think most people have their hands raised. Well, how many people want more diverse members in their club? There you go. And you should want both of those. And one of the things you need to think about with your images are having images that maybe show some diversity and show younger members. And maybe you have those members in your club, but maybe you just don't have the right images. The Brand Center has hundreds of great photos that you can use that can fill in the gaps that you don't currently have in your library of images. So that you can have a combination of the brand center photos to fill in the gaps and your own photos. Same thing with video. There are a ton of videos in the brand center that you can use if you don't have enough video on your own in your club, or you need something very specific that you don't have. Using video embedded on your website is a great way to build traffic. Video is a great medium to tell a story, a very complicated story in a short amount of time, and it's typically more memorable than photos and just straight text. The last thing I would want to mention is responsive design. Just make sure that whatever platform you use, it does respond well to multiple devices. Most do today, but I wouldn't say all. I've seen some that still, when you're looking at on your mobile phone, the text gets crunched to one side and the images takes over. There's like 2 letters on each line. That's not good responsive design. So you want to really make sure you check that out so that it works on tablets well and mobile phones. More than 50% of the viewers now, and it's only going to get higher, are on mobile devices rather than a desktop or a laptop computer. And the final thing I would mention is with that is try to use analytics of some sort, either AI analytics, as Lizzie pointed out. Most websites have ways to link to Google Analytics, and you can kind of periodically look to see how your website's performing and make adjustments accordingly. So, all right, so we're going to have time for questions at the end. So right now we're going to move to newsletters. And we're going to get our presentation back up here. All right, newsletters.
Okay, thank you. Hi, I'm Tim Kelly, and I'm from District 7930, and I'm an RPIC my last year here with our group, Amy, and the crew here. So in my district, I'm the editor of our district newsletter, and we're just going to talk a bit about that. I also just wanted to mention that my background, unlike I think a lot of times when you're talking about it, something Cheryl had said at the beginning, is that I'm an attorney. I have no marketing or public image professional training. So a lot of times when we're talking to clubs, if we have people from district public image committees here, or people who are just on from your club level, you don't need to be a professional to be able to do public image. The tools that we have now for these newsletters, not talking about the specifics, but most districts are Club Runner or DACDB. We're a Club Runner district, and it's very easy to create a decent, a professional looking website and send out newsletters, which are largely attached to the content, or can be largely adapted from the content of your website, your website, into push that out as a newsletter. So when you're getting started with this, either if you're starting out new or if you have an existing newsletter, it is as similar to what Jay was talking about with the website. You want to think, who's your audience and who are you trying to send this out to? Who do you want to reach? Are you looking to send this out exterior to members of the public, or to your members specifically, or to both? It depends, who you're going to send it to, really, will should affect how the content and what you're going to put in it, and uh, you want to tailor your message and tailor your content to
Yes.
that. So a lot of times when we're talking in Rotary, we use a lot of shorthand and acronyms. And if you're sending something out, which you're intending to go in addition to the public, you want to make sure you're not using all the alphabet soup only without explaining what it is. You you also want to think about what you want people to do once they get this information. Uh, you always think about having a call to action. Now, maybe you're just trying to circulate news. This is what's going on in our club or in our district. So it may not be directly relatable in every single article that you're sending out, but you do a lot of times we just send the information out there thinking like we're sending this out because we want to spread the news and get people to join. Well, you also want to tell them, please come join or please come to a meeting. So always think about having that call to action and what you want them to do once they've received your newsletter. All right. Didn't have to ask you to go to the next slide. Thanks, Jay. When you're getting it started, you want to have a team. Ultimately, you don't want it to be just a one-person newsletter. It's great to have a bench and to have people responsible for various aspects of what you're doing. You want to try to build up your newsletter list, your recipients. In Club Runner, I know, and I'm sure DACDB has the same thing where, you can have a widget that says sign up for our newsletter. And if you have it's also very easy in Club Runner to add people into, as people who are going to receive the e-bulletin or the newsletter that you have. But you want to manage your subscriber list so that you can try to get it out to as many as people, people interested in it. When you're choosing a program, this is more applicable for people who have experience with different types of email marketing or that kind of thing. For somebody like me, it's easier because I don't know how to do any of that stuff. So Club Runner offers and DACDB offers an easy way for those of us who are not in the field to put something out without having to create it from scratch or know what you're doing and generally in the field to be like a marketing person. When you're getting your content together, you want to carefully consider what's going in, and that really depends on who it's going to, what the purposes are. And I just want to give an example of what we do a weekly newsletter in 7930, and part of it is we have usually we have a little piece at the end of it. One of the articles will have, say, ideally like 4 to 6 to 8, little stories in there. And the last one often is, please submit a story. We want to hear from your clubs what you're doing. So that's how we source the, get content. In addition, our district newsletter will have the beginning, here's the several things that are coming up or something that's coming up. We have a mid-year leadership conference meeting coming up in January. So we have a story. We've been running that, for the last several weeks, and asking people to sign up. That's the call to action on that. In addition, we'll have clubs. We want clubs to submit stuff to say, this is what we're doing. This is an event we're having. This is a project we're doing. We want people to volunteer for it. So when we receive that, we have set up, somebody can submit it through the website. It's from a separate website, which is linked in there. And that, sorry, I'm distracted by the pop-ups. But that's how we get content. If a club sends it in, we're going to put it in the district newsletter. It might have to be held. It might not make it into this week's one, but it will definitely go in. When you are, you want to also consider, are you looking just for forward-leaning stuff? Are you looking about what's coming up in the future? Or this is what we've done, or both. Our district newsletter, which I have most experience with, has a combination of both of those things. It's things you want to consider when you're putting it together. So best practices. You want to be consistent when you publish, weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, or whatever period you do it on seasonally. But ideally, you want to have it consistent. Similar as Jay had talked about the pictures you're using, you want those pictures are part of the messaging. So you want to have, active looking pictures, people who look happy, people who are engaged. There's some great stuff on the Learning Center about in public image about the pictures and how to create them. You want to avoid, the handshake and the big check pictures, those. However, those are also useful. I wouldn't say never use them. If a club submits something like that, we're gonna publish it. But it can be harder than it sounds to have an action picture, showing the action of your service project that isn't posed, that doesn't have people looking at the camera, it's zooming into the action. It's not as easy as just saying, yeah, do that. So you also have the option of going and looking at the brand center, because there's a lot of great pictures there. So if you're not looking for something specific to your event, you're looking for something sort of a general Rotary picture, there's a lot of great action pictures there, which really fit the mark. You want to keep your stories short and engaging. I know on Club Runner, I'm sure DACDB does the same thing, has an option where you can put, the first piece of the story there and then a click read more, at the end, so that you don't have a, 10 inches of story there. And maybe you need to have a lot of information in there, but the shorter you can keep it, the better. And I always put dates in bold, because people, even when it's short and it's 3 or 4 sentences, people kind of skim over stuff. So as much as you can put it in bite-sized chunks for the eyes, then all the better. Let's see, is there anything else I want to say here? Yeah, and so I guess I'm sorry, best practice. All right, thank you. Ideally, you want to encourage members to submit stuff, and we have, that's what we do in our district newsletter. We really almost every week. Sometimes the last story that says, "Please submit your stories to us here." It gets cut because we have a lot of other stuff, but it's in all the time. So people do ask me, well, how do I submit a letter to the story? I'm like, well, it's in every newsletter, just about. But we have a button on the homepage. Click here to submit a story. It's in a bunch of different, tracks on the website about how to submit something to us, or just, get in touch with me and I'll help you through. You do have to have an editor. Sometimes the stuff you're going to be is going to be, will ramble and will sometimes people aren't great writers and might need a little help tweaking stuff and getting it a little, more manageable. And but you also largely you have to make sure that the stuff you're publishing is brand compliant. It really, really should be. Now, we don't chase down clubs in our district for non-compliant stuff on their website, but if they submit stuff to our district website, it has to be brand compliant. So we will reach back out to the person if they submit a flyer for their 20th annual golf tournament and they got the golf ball with the rotary wheel stamped on it. Say, yeah, you can't, that's not brand compliant. It has to be brand compliant. And even though this is not a brand new brand, a lot of people seem to have some trouble with it. So we try to do it as, sensitively and kindly as possible, but with the resolution that we're not gonna publish non-compliant branding in the district newsletter. Another thing that you can do if you're doing your newsletters at different times, or sometimes a governor may want to put something out and have themes for it, for monthly, quarterly themes. We have the monthly, Rotary has its monthly themes. You can attach it to that, or you can just create a theme for a newsletter that may make more sense in your in your club or district. And again, you can email this out to club chairs. You can email it out to, I'm sure TACDB has the same ability for you to send it out to everybody. Send it out to all your members, all these types of members, the different chairs of committees or presidents of clubs.
Great. Thank you very much, Tim. And I think we have a commercial now before we get to questions.
A fun commercial. Yeah. So before we get to questions, one, thank you, Tim, Jay, and Lizzie. Amazing information. We are going to have a good chunk of time for questions, but before that, last time we did our webinar, we announced our Zone 28 and 32 Ignite Public Image Award. So this is a new award all about public image for clubs and districts within our zone. And Cheryl and I's idea for this is that we want to celebrate clubs and districts that are doing amazing stuff in this public image world and elevating our Rotary stories. And it also can be a framework and a toolkit to help elevate and expand and reach new audiences. So every time we have a webinar, we're going to give out an action item. And the last webinar, the first step to the action item to complete this award and be recognized and celebrated was to do an audit of your club and district's social media pages, websites, online to make sure that it's brand compliant. So we were looking for that. If you follow that QR code there, that takes you to the Zone website, to the public image resource page, and it lays out the first two steps of the Ignite Public Image Award. After you've completed step one, there's a link to a Google form where you fill out your Google form. This is all self-reporting there, but you'll fill out that you performed your audit and that you are brand compliant, or you can also ask for help too. And we're here to help you kind of walk through to make sure that your website, your social media pages are brand compliant and really representing who we are as Rotarians, people of action with our amazing brand. So announcing tonight, step two, or action item two, all to align with websites, is we want you to create a website article or story about why people should join Rotary. So Jay talked about how our websites what is the purpose of your website, and hopefully it is to expand new audiences and gain new members. And one of the first things that they're going to go to on your website is, why should they join? And we got this idea because somebody emailed our director, Chris, they had put into Google search of why should I join Rotary? And you all can do this right now, or you can wait till after the webinar, but the results that they got back were not very good. and didn't really kind of align, a lot of stereotypes. So one of the ways that we can combat that, because the way that Google and AI finds answers to questions that they're being asked is through content on websites. So if all the websites in our zone have a article or a story about why somebody should join Rotary, what's beneficial about it, we can kind of help provide AI and Google with some more accurate answers to that question. So it's a little bit of twofold. It's going to help you within your community, but it's also going to help elevate why people should join Rotary overall. So that's the action item number 2 to complete our Ignite Public Image Award. There'll be 2 more. And then all clubs and districts that have completed these action items will be celebrated and recognized at our zone summit in the fall. So again, that QR code will take you to our public image resource page on the zone website, zones 28 and 32, where you can find the Ignite Public Image Award written out with the 2 action items, and then there'll be 2 separate Google forms for each of the action items that you'll need to fill out. So if you've already done step 1, you don't need to do step 1 again. You can jump right to step 2. But if this is your first time hearing about this, you can still jump in and do that action item 1 and then catch up on 2 for tonight's action item. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to reach out to me or Cheryl. But we're excited to celebrate and recognize all of the good public image work that's happening within our clubs and our districts. Thank you. All right, so now we'll open up to questions. Fantastic. So any questions about websites, newsletters, or sharing? I'm going to share. There was one question earlier in the chat. Eric asked, what is a widget? And Lizzie did answer it, but Lizzie, maybe do you want to expand a little bit for everyone of what is a widget used in website terminology there?
Sure. Do you want me to just show you?
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
great.
That would be
That would
awesome.
be great.
Okay. I can do that. All right. So I'm going to hop into my club's website editing in our club runner. And so here's our website editor and club runner is what it looks like on the back end. And so you can see each of these sections is separate, and you can click and drag and move them around. So each one of these is a widget. And then over here, you can see they have the pre-formatted ones. There's some essentials. These are some of the benefits of having a Club Runner or DACDB site is they're connected to your database, so they can pre-fill things like your calendar of events or news headlines from Rotary International or your club executives. They will sort of auto-fill with just a simple widget that you drag and drop onto the page.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think of it, it's a container that does something.
It's
So it's a
yeah, it's a
fancy
co-
word for a container,
Yeah,
website container.
container or code, really, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
can see there's different ones here, ones that will give you a series of buttons, an image with a caption, just text,
I
3
think this was
columns with
in
images.
reference to subscribing to your newsletter, or yeah.
Yeah, that's a great widget. Yeah. Yeah. Tim mentioned that you can drop a
Oh.
widget onto, like, the homepage would be a great one for that. Is that one that's
Right.
already existing, Lizzie, or is that one that maybe has to
I don't know about a newsletter sign up one, but this contact us one,
For the
you would be able to
webpage.
customize the headline to say, contact us to sign up for our newsletter on this widget.
Gotcha.
And you
Yeah.
pick who's going to receive that. So if you have, your secretary or public image
Yeah, who's
person,
gonna manage it? Yeah.
yeah, it would go right to them.
Awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. Lizzie, Jim asked, so what you're demoing there, is that old Club Runner or is that the new Nova? Have you
It's old.
switched over?
I've not switched over yet. I'm scared.
So yeah,
But
this
I'm
is the big
excited about it.
conversation in Club Runner world. Sorry,
Yes.
DACDB people, but
Yeah.
there is a Nova coming. I don't know if anyone on here is has switched over. Yeah, it looks amazing though, so
I know
I'm
I'm
excited
excited
about it
for it,
too.
but also scared because I've been an old club runner for like 15 years, so it'll be a change, I'm sure.
It'll be good. I always think be an early adopter, so that you can learn with that learning curve and learn with everyone else. Brandon says that their club switched over, but not their district. Yeah, Brandon, if you wanted to share any insights or anything, I'm going to switch my view too so that I can see everybody. There we go. Um,
Yeah. I don't know. It's different. It's obviously hard getting adjusting to a different look. When you're used to looking at the same spot or same thing in the same spot. Now they're all on the left-hand side and stuff.
Okay, Brandon, your audio broke up a little
It's
bit, but
very
a little bit
confusing,
of
but
adapting
once you
of
get the
where
hang of it,
everything
it's okay.
is. Awesome. Okay, so a couple
Yeah,
people have
Oh, yeah.
switched
Sorry.
to Nova.
Yeah, that was the hardest part. I mean, I think our club switched about 2 months ago.
I mean, you saw I almost like with muscle memory just like clicked through it, right? So I would probably
Right.
take me a little longer to get used to the new click path.
It's good for you though to
Yes.
learn different pathways. Valerie, you have a question. Feel free to unmute and
Yeah,
and
I saw
share.
Mark Lindum from Kentwood raise his hand. Mark, I'm thinking you're in District 6290 if it's Kentwood. How has that gone for your club? I'd like to hear from you switching over, because we're all supposed to be moving toward that in our district.
We're a very small club and basically nobody has done anything on the website for a long time. So we're trying to get it up and running again. But the upgrade it took like 20 minutes. So
Okay,
it went extremely smooth.
Mm.
okay. Because yeah, it scares me. It seems like what we're going to have to do is redesign our whole website and take stuff that was in our old website over, but did that stuff transfer over?
Yes.
It did. Okay, whew, good. Okay.
Yeah. Awesome.
In CNY, we recently had 3 districts become one, and Club Runner brought together the data from 2 districts into one district's Club Runner. They're a very talented team.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
Where is
don't hesitate
CNY?
Oh, sorry, what was that, Valerie?
Where is CNY? What
Oh.
does CNY stand for?
Central New York.
Oh, okay. All right. Thanks.
If I could add to that, so I think this has really brought an interesting thing forward because so many clubs and districts are Club Runner, some are DAC. Like my district is DAC, but we still have a few clubs that are still in Club Runner. It doesn't always communicate real well. So one of the things we might want to do in the future is bring in somebody from DAC and somebody from Club Runner to just talk about, because it gets really confusing sometimes. And I think that whatever platform you use, there's a lot of changes happening rapidly all the way around.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, Cheryl. If you all are interested in that, we can work on setting that up. I think that would be really, really great. Any other questions? I would love to, if anybody too, we still have the room open, but if you wanted to share any of your newsletters in the chat too, I think seeing what other people are doing, I think that's a great way to learn as well too. So if you I probably should have thought of that earlier, so that you could get that all ready. Everyone's now going to be digging through their emails. But I think it'd be great to see what everyone else is doing. I always love to pull little tidbits from other people that are doing great things. Valerie, go ahead and unmute.
One more thing to suggest then is the Ludington Rotary Club in Ludington, Michigan puts out a weekly newsletter. I don't know if you can access it through their general website. It is very well done. Their person that does it is a marketing specialist, but she utilizes a lot of stuff from a lot of information from Rotary International, and it's impressive. So if you want to see a good one, check out what Ludington Rotary Club has.
That's great to know.
Yeah.
Awesome. May Else wrote in the chat that they revamped their district newsletter bi-weekly back in September. It helped not to be cut off. Open rates increased by 10%.
That's
That's
awesome.
amazing. Yeah. Mayel, do you want to share a little bit more? It's great that you're keeping track of open rates too. I love all that data stuff. I geek out on that. So it's kind of fun to watch those numbers increase when you make small little changes. They really help.
Unlike what Tim was saying, I am a marketer by trade, so I was able to join in as the district public image chair, as I think the first one who had a background in that. So really trying to help them bring that kind of business perspective to it. And so one of the main issues we had is we had too much content a lot of the time because each story was taking way too long, and so all of our newsletter kept getting cut off. And people kept being like, well, you didn't put my thing here. And we're like, yes, it is, but you have to go click and open it online and so on. Plus, we used to have club things first and district things second. So most people would miss out on everything district communication. So the way I revamped it is I switched it off and made it so it's like as short as possible. And then I have within it a couple pieces for each committees. So we have one for PI, one for L&D, one for DEI, and so on. That each connections, we call it connections, newsletter is like on a different topic. So it brings them with RI resources, zone resources, or district resources. And yeah, people have been really liking it and find it a lot more clear to go through than before.
Amazing. Yeah, that's great. It's good to think about that. As public image people, we are the communicators of messaging. So making sure that everything is clear and people can find the information quickly too, is really important to think about when you're pulling together both your websites and your newsletters too. I think, what is it, Patty? Yeah, Patty wrote in the chat that they include an index at the beginning of their monthly district newsletter. That's a great idea too, a little tidbit there. Any other? Yeah, Patty, go ahead.
First, it's the international stuff, then the zone stuff, then the district stuff, and anything from committee chairs or whatever. And then there's a section of upcoming events this month and save the dates that clubs have sent me. And then I go through all the club stories, and I reach out to about 147 people each month. They're either the PI chair, or at some point they have agreed to serve as what I call the news rep for their club. And readership is up in the district. I've been doing this for about 1.5 years now.
Amazing.
And I think the index is incredibly important because it makes it so easy to, some people just go look at it for their own club to see what they did this month, and other people look for other reasons. And I think an index is really helpful if you can manage it.
Yeah, I like the idea of a news rep. That's great. Is anyone using like any sort of like submission form, like a Google submission, or are you just doing email to get stories from your committees? Tim, I see your hand up.
Yeah, we have a submission form that goes through. It's not through Club Runner, but it's linked on our Club Runner page. And I'm not sure if it's not a Google form, but it's hosted on one of the Pastors to Governor's website, and it's submitted through there, and then it goes to several people. Goes to several people on the Public Image Committee, and from there it goes in the website, newsletter, social media.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah, with some kind of like a Google form or submission there, multiple people can access that. So that seems like a great idea. Karen.
We found that our open rates were bouncing back and forth. Like Amy, I'm pretty much a geek for data, and there's a lot of data that you really have to dig for it. And we're a Club Runner shop, but one of the things that I find was most engaging, I guess, in our district newsletter, I don't know if I can share this or not. As a matter of fact, I can. So this here,
Oh, I think I have
sorry,
to.
folks.
Oh,
This here, I don't know if you see this or not.
perfect. Yes.
We're the District 7430 Rotary Roundup. So our newsletter basically, as you guys are saying, and thank you very much for the index idea. I love that. But it's basically, a monthly message. And then we flip to these two things right here in the middle, the district governor video, and then the the month in photos. We're a monthly newsletter. And these two things alone are, if no one is going to read any of this other stuff, they click on the video and the photos. And we found that to be very, very very, very effective. So when I look at what people are reading every single month and what got the most engagement, by far those two elements, like 30 to 50 clicks every single month. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Lizzie.
That's a really nice looking newsletter, Karen. I'm just curious, like show of hands, how many of you are cross-posting your newsletter content onto your social channels? Yes? Okay, I see a few hands. So in CNY, our district, clubs send their news into news@cnyrotary.org, and they can send it anytime, no deadlines. We post it into our news network. The link is in the chat. But we also cross-post everything onto our socials. So we have Instagram and Facebook. We also have a Facebook group specific for the news network. So sometimes we do extra things in the group. We do allow clubs to directly post in the group if it's a new member or a new Paul Harris pinning. We don't allow willy-nilly posting because of brand compliance issues. We want to make sure at any district things are brand compliant, and clubs aren't always caught up on that, as we mentioned previously. And then we also, if you send in your news and it's an event, we will post it on the district calendar for you. So one-stop shop for clubs to get their news out through our district, and makes for a nice, vibrant social channel because there's always things happening and coming in.
Awesome. And you're leveraging us right into, which I almost forgot, but our upcoming webinars.
Yes.
So easy dates to remember.
Blur.
3/3. So March 3rd, 3/3, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It is all going to be about social media. And we're also going to talk about Substack too. So we announced in the beginning that we have a public image Substack for our zones. So we're going to learn a little bit more about Substack and also how to have engaging social media. So that's 3/3, March 3rd. And then the next webinar after that, again, another easy date. I love how these aligned, 5/5. So May 5th. 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And that one's all going to be about podcasting and AI, leveraging AI. So adapting to new platforms there. Awesome. Thank you all so much. So any last questions? Any last sentiments from our team?
Yeah, Amy,
Yeah.
just if anybody has questions, they can reach out to any one of us, or you can find us on the zone website, in other ways too. But if any of us can help with any questions that people have.
Yes, thank you, Tim, for mentioning it. That is what we're here for. We're here to support you. So please reach out, friend us, share what you're doing too. We love to hear what you're doing. Share your ideas, share those. I hope all those chat newsletters save, though. I can go back and look through them all because I'm excited about that. So share what you're doing with us. Don't forget about our Public Image Award. But thank you all so much for joining us tonight. Stay warm and keep being brand champions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Great to see you all.
Hi, Gail. I just want to say hi before you log off.
I'll be in touch.
Awesome.
Hey, Jay.
Bye. Bye, Gail.
Very cool. Thank you guys so much. Oh, I'm going to stop recording. I always forget that part.